Welcome all, Ben here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook, looking at the DXY on the daily time frame. I'm still looking at all this in here as a possible correction, and we get another one down. So I'm not convinced that this is the actual low here. Medium term on the lower time frame, like I mentioned last week, we do have this possible hidden divergence in here, so we can get another one up in here before more downside. So there's two scenarios here. Ideally, this does go up and break the top here, and it gets rid of that hidden divergence, and we get some bearish divergence in here, and then we get a nice impulse down, a correction, and a sell setup, and we could look for a sell. But in the meantime, you could look for a buy to go and break the top. It's quite risky, but yeah, I'd be more interested in the downside. I think that's going to be the larger impulse. AU's really stuck in the middle here. There is a chance that we still get up to this 100 fib here, but yeah, it's looking very messy in the middle here. Over here, we got to sell for this, like for this in here. Now we're getting a very choppy, like this is sort of like a large flat here. So we get some sort of an A, B, C up in here, and then we get like A, B, C before we possibly go up and break the top. But yeah, it's very difficult to trade at this stage. You'd be really going down onto the lower time frames like this M15 here and looking for a correction. Like we got a nice impulse up, so I'd be looking for a correction and then looking to buy. Pretty much just a scalp, but you see how far it goes. GU on the daily, we're in this. We sort of already have the three up like that A, B, C. It didn't get anywhere up near the 100 fib. We're starting to get this. It looks like a larger correction in here. I mean, it is starting to look motive in here. It's pretty much the same as what I was looking for last week. I was looking at that 1, 2, 3, and we get a wave 4 in here and a wave 5, and then possibly more upside. But you can see how choppy this is in here. So I'd still be going with that. I haven't changed my count here from an ABC to like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Be looking for a sell. We're starting to get bearish divergence in here between the two tops. And you can see this is looking very choppy. There's nothing motive looking about it at this stage. So I'd still be waiting for a correction similar size to this over here. So looking for a time factor here. So waiting for this time factor, and then if we start to get a sell set up, well, you could look for a sell for a wave 5 down. EU bounced clean off this 100 fib in the wave C here. Again, pretty much the same as last week. Nothing's really changed, even on the H4. We were looking at this as very choppy. Excuse me. Now we have a breakout of the trend line here. Really got to be careful here, though, because we do have a possible bear hidden here. we haven't broken this top here over here. So we have that possible bear hidden. So we've got to be extremely careful. Ideally, it would have given us a nice impulse up, breaking that top there, taking out the possible bear hidden, and then giving us a correction, and then we could have looked for the buy. At this stage, we still can look for a buy, but we've got to be very careful. You want a really nice entry to get in, because we do have that possible bear hidden. You could also look for a sell for that bear hidden. It's not really valid to trade at this stage as a bear hidden, but yeah, it's there is no sell set up on it, and it's quite risky to sell at this stage. Yeah, I can't really go into it much more than that. It's something that I go into in my trading course, how to trade these hidden divergences and that. So yeah, at this stage the sell is quite risky, and for me to buy it, I'd need, like I said, I need this top over here to be broken, and then give us a nice correction and a buy setup, and then I could look to buy. And you on the daily, I was looking for this A, B, and a C up in here. It's been very messy, this one. I'm looking at this larger flat here. Like I've been saying, until this low here is broken, I really got to look at this as a flat, like this A, B, C, and then we get the larger A, B, C. I am still looking for upside, but unfortunately, it's not giving us any nice setups to buy. The reason I say that is because this down here is quite choppy. Um, it's sort of looking like what was happening over here. There's not, it doesn't look really impulsive, so wouldn't be surprised if we get more downside here. Like I mentioned, it's not really giving us much of a buy setup. Did have a little flat in here, um, but yeah, it's already starting to get bearish divergence. So yeah, extremely risky. There's really not much on it at all. GY, we're looking at this ABC here before we get the larger ABC. Still not convinced this is over in here yet. We've been looking at that as a correction, and it's starting to break out. You can really only buy this. I'd be looking at this as the impulse, get a correction, and then a buy setup. You could look to buy to go and break the top. It's really just scalping. UY, I'm looking at all this as a correction, and we get some sort of an A, B, C here, then an A, B, C, larger flat before you get A, B, C. So I am looking for downside. Again, it's not giving us any sell setups at this stage. We're getting a lot of bearish divergence on the H4. And H1, we got a lot of bearish divergence as well. But again, we're not getting that sell setup. Even this here, it looks more bullish, to go up and break to the top again. So yeah, unfortunately, well, with a bit of luck, this comes up, breaks the top, and then gives us a nice impulse down, breaking this low, giving us a correction, and then a sell setup, and then we can look for a sell. I'm more interested in the sell at this stage. USD CAD. again, I'm looking at all this as corrective, and we get another one down, breaking this low. But again, it's not giving us any sell setups yet. So last week we had this big impulse up in here, and so I said we'll wait for a correction in here. If we get 3 down in here and then a buy set up on the lower time frames, you could look to buy to go and break that top. Again, it's really just scalping, but that's all I see at this stage. A possible buy, but only once we get 3 down in here. We need some sort of an A, B, C in here, and then like an A, B, C, then a buy set up, and we can look for a buy. The Swiss franc, USD. We got this large A, B, C here. Again, I'm not convinced that this is the actual low here. I've been looking at this as corrective to go and break the low. And it's still very much possible. We did have that like A, B, C here. We got a nice impulse down. So if we get a correction in here, you can look to scalp to go and break the low. You got to wait for this correction though, and then get a sell set up, and then you can trade. It's a scalp, like I said. It's more of a scalp than anything. EG pretty much leaving alone now. We've already got the 5 up. If you're still in it, there was opportunity in here for that wave 5 up. We had that ball hidden, etc. If you go back through my videos, but we've got the 5 up. Really need a larger correction before we join again. Other than that, you're pretty much just trading with the trend here. Scalping with the trend more like it. But yeah, starting to get bearish divergence on the H4. Overall on the H1 as well. So pretty much I'm more interested in a sell setup, but again, it's not giving us a sell setup. And yeah. WTI really not playing the game. I would have really liked to see this low here broken, and it still may yet. But yeah, ideally I would have liked to see this low here broken, but on the lower time frames, this is looking very bullish in here. Like I mentioned last week, this in here is looking very bullish, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get at least an A, B, C up. So I'm looking for buys, and we'll see how far it goes. This may turn motive and give us 5 up in here. But yeah, I'm looking for at least 3 up in here. So medium term to short term, I'd be looking to buy just for that ABC. And if you're lucky, it takes off. Gold right up the top of the market. We're waiting for a larger correction in here on the daily. We got the 5 up on the H4. And we're getting some sort of a correction here. You'll have to be careful at this stage. It's more, we can still get another one up in here. Like 1, 2, 3. Get a wave 4 and a wave 5 up before it falls over. But we do have not a too bad impulse down. So if we do get a correction in here, you could look for a 3 down in here. Ideally, it goes for you and falls over. But you'll have to be mindful that it may just be 3 down, and then you get a buy set up to break that top, and then I'd be looking for a sell setup to go and break the lows. Silver's pretty much the same, virtually identical, right up the top of the market. We got to be careful up here buying. This one went a little bit further, but it's, as you can see here, we have three up. Like we got an eight, one, two, three. Get away four, and you get away five up in here. We may even get a bull hidden here. We can even look at it that on the H1. We got like one, two, three, four. We're getting a bull hidden in here. So for that wave five. So I'm still rather bullish on it, but it's pretty much just a scout for that wave five up, and then yeah. Bitcoin, we're right up the top of the market as well. Looking for a sell here after we got this nice impulse down here. We're looking for a sell. Got the sell. It's down to the 100 fib now. We are getting overall bullish divergence, but yeah, nothing really. I mean, you're either on this already or you're not. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we get more downside at this stage. Like, get some sort of a like one, two, three, get a wave four in here and a wave five down. We may get a bear hidden in here, and that's the problem. We've got to be very careful buying, because even if you're buying, it may be quite deep without breaking these tops here and give us a bear hidden here, you know, and then we get another one down. So yeah, got to be careful. Well, we really need a correction before you can sell. And there isn't no buy set up on it. There's nothing to buy. We're still getting lower lows on the lower time frame, so there's nothing to buy yet. We're getting all the bullish divergence, but we need an impulse up to buy. Like, you'd need a nice impulse up, a correction, and then a buy set up as well before you can look for a buy. That's simply, there's nothing there at this stage. S&P 500 right up the top of the market. We're really, well, if we quickly go back to the weekly, we've got five up here. We've got like one, two, three, four, five. It's just about up to that second target, that 161.8. So we've got to be very careful with buying. It could fall over at any time. But in saying that, there's no sign of any downside. Last week, we had that ball hidden here. So this can go up and break that top. Even if we look at the H1, we have a ball hidden in here. So, you could look for a buy. It's a risky buy. It's a scalp just to go up and break the top. If I go down to the lower time frames, I'd be looking for at least three up in here. Again, we've got to be very careful, because we have a possible bear hidden in here. So if we get a correction in here, you can look for at least three up, like an A, B, C. Then you got to be careful, because it can come down and break the low for some sort of a one, two, three, four, five. So yeah, it definitely can look for a buy, but it's really just a scout for a C up. And if you're lucky, it takes off and breaks the tops, but I wouldn't be expecting that at this stage. I'd be just looking for an A, B, C. AU200, we're right up the top here. There is a possible that this is an expanding flat, like an A, B, C here, expanding flat starting to form here. And we get more upside. Excuse me. But after this large impulse here, I'd be expecting a larger correction. So it's a time factor now. We need to wait for a nice correction. H4, I'd be pretty much looking for a sell like we were last week. We had that impulse down here. breaking this low. Didn't get a very nice correction, but yeah, you may have got on it. The FTSE's right up the top of the market as well on the daily, so we need a nice correction, possibly back to the 50 fib of this move here. So looking for a larger correction and then possibly a larger buy. This one here we can actually sell. Look for a sell. If it gives us a sell, we could definitely look for the sell. We got all the bearish divergence. We got a nice impulse from a top. So if we get a correction in here, you could definitely look for a sell. So now you got to wait for that correction. The correction obviously isn't. Well, it hadn't even really started yet, but yep, I'd be waiting for some sort of a correction in here and then look for a downside. It might be the first opportunity we get for a nice sell. So it'd definitely be something to keep an eye on next week if we get a nice correction in here. Might be the first opportunity to get in for a sell at the top of the market. So, and lastly, the DAX. We're right at the top of the market here too. This is giving a larger correction here already. So, yeah, pretty much just waiting to see. I mean, it gave us a buy. It gave us a possible buy here when we had this nice impulse up in here, but it's come straight back down. So we didn't get a correction. Like after the impulse, we want a correction to buy. Instead, this has given us an impulse and an impulse. So it can give us a correction in here, another impulse down, another impulse up as some sort of a larger flat, and then you get some sort of a high, complex correction and you get another one down. So there's a couple of scenarios here. I mean, that's one scenario where we get a correction in here, another one down, and we get a flat in here. That's one scenario. Another scenario is we get an impulse up in here and a buy set up for 3 up, and then like an A, B, C here before we get an A, B, C. So there is a couple of different scenarios there, but yeah, really got to wait for whether it gives us a correction, a bullish correction like this, or it gives us a bearish correction like this. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I hope you got something out of this weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.